Hey guys, what is going on? So today we're talking about overhead videos, kind of like you see on the channel Tasty. They've really made this look and style popular and everyone seems to want to copy them because it is such an engaging look and feel when you create a video. So if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, it's basically where you have the camera positioned directly overhead looking straight down, you have some time-lapse stuff going, and then in the video you basically go from beginning to end and you either create like a recipe or you show something, or I don't know, there's so many different ways that you can use this method, which is why I think it's so popular. It's just a different perspective, a different point of view, and people really seem to want to watch it, especially on social media. So if you're flipping through on Facebook or Instagram and you see a video that's shot overhead, a lot of times you're gonna sit there and watch it, even with the sound off and not really sure exactly what it is. You'll sit there and just kind of pay attention to it. And that's the beauty of shooting overhead videos, is that they're very engaging. So how do you shoot a Tasty style overhead video? This is something that I've been working on a lot lately. So a lot of our clients have wanted this style of video. So I've been playing around with a lot of different ways to shoot, and what I've found is that there is a few different aspects that you need to focus on when creating these videos to get some awesome looking footage and things that people really want to watch. So the first is camera placement, the second is lighting, the third is the surface, the fourth is the resolution that you're using, and the fifth is editing. So let's break down each one of these individually so that you can get a better sense of how to shoot these videos and be successful when you go out and shoot them. Okay, so camera placement. Camera placement is very important. Now you can take your tripod and bump it all the way to the top and look down, but you're gonna have a little bit of an angle and you're never gonna get directly overhead. So the key to get directly overhead is to literally get the camera directly overhead. The method that I've come up with that works really well, I take two C-stands, which are weighted down with sandbags, and I connect them in the center, and then I attach a tripod head to one of the ends, and the camera goes on that. This has been the most successful for me. I've tried a bunch of different scenarios with different types of pieces to try and get the angle right, and the best way to do it is usually the simplest. I just took a pin, attached it to the bottom of the tripod head, and stuck that in the C-stand arm, weighted it down with some sandbags, and guess what? It works great. And you can position it and maneuver it around to be able to spin the camera just a little bit sideways, up, down, and that's how you get that perfect downward angle look. Now, I've seen other people using a monopod with one C-stand and a boom pole holder. I was considering doing this method, but the issue with that is that you're gonna have some bounce. So if you don't touch that device, that setup, it's not gonna move. But if there's any slight movement, basically you're gonna shift. And when we talk later about editing, you'll understand why you don't want the camera to shift at all. So you really want at least 2 points of contact to the ground that are weighted down, and then the camera mounted between those, so it's very solid and stiff. So basically there's very little camera shake, if any at all. Now you can get more advanced with this, get some bigger stands, heavier stands. Obviously the bigger and heavier your setup is, the less shake there'll be, which will keep your camera completely stable. But the key is getting it directly overhead. Okay, let's talk about lighting. So there's gonna be a ton of ways to light, and it all depends on the scene that you're shooting. For one of our clients, we were shooting like 6 different scenes, and we basically used the lights and position them different way. One to create nighttime, one to create daytime, one to create early morning. So we played with gels, this and that. If you're not looking for a specific look, then the best way to do it is basically have 2 lights. One that's pretty low, right behind the subject, and then you want to light directly overhead, as much overhead as you can get. And basically what you're doing is filling the entire frame. However, you still have a direction of light coming towards the person who is doing the action. And that creates a sense of depth. So if you were to blast light from every angle, it's just gonna feel off. It'll feel just flat and not very it just won't look very good. When you're watching a Tasty video, you'll notice this. So they keep it all bright, but there is still direction of light to a degree. So it does create a little bit of a shadow and it actually looks really good. So light in front and light above, that creates a very cool look. What you put your video on makes a big difference. The key is finding different surfaces that might match whatever it is that you're shooting. With one client, I shot with like bed sheets, a marble surface, wood, something concrete looking, something black. Depending on what you're shooting, think about the surface you're putting on, and then also think about your audience. Are they gonna respond well to something that's very woody, very earthy, or are they gonna respond to something that's more like metals and like shiny? Or do you just need to put it on white? So there's different ways to think about this, and the surface you put it on makes a big difference because that is the entire area that you're filming on. People are gonna notice that. Think about your scene and then think about what you want to put it on. Okay, let's talk resolution. So I put this as an important point to talk about because the higher resolution you shoot, the more ability you're gonna have in post to edit. That brings us into editing, which is when you're shooting these style of videos, basically what you want to do is shoot wide, shoot the highest resolution that you possibly can. So shoot 4K if possible, shoot 6K if you're using a Red, shoot 8K if you got it. I mean, it's a little overkill for what we're doing here, but you know, if you're shooting 4K, that allows you to crop in at least 2 times when you're creating like a 1080p, or even more depending on what your final output is. So the ability to crop in and out is gonna allow you to get different shots and be able to edit things faster. And also when you're shooting, make sure when you start the scene, you record and don't stop recording until it's completely done. We're not doing any time lapses in camera, nothing like that. You're shooting from beginning to end, just real time, either 30 or 24, whatever your final output is gonna be, that's what you should probably shoot. And what you do is you start recording at the beginning and you end recording. All the magic happens in the editing. And this is why I say resolution is important, because you're going to do a few things when you get into editing. You're going to speed up footage, you're gonna slow down footage, you're going to crop in, crop out. And the whole idea is that you have a really high resolution image on the get-go, overhead, and that basically serves as a lot of the footage that you're gonna use. That's almost entirely what you're gonna use, is that one shot, and you're gonna go in, out, fast, slow. Because when you're doing this, you're gonna be emphasizing different things about the shot, about what you're shooting. You're gonna wanna highlight stuff. It's not just a time lapse. And if you just do a time lapse from overhead, it might be a little boring. You really wanna focus in detail. That's what makes these videos so engaging, is that you look at this detail, or you look at that detail, or you stop, fast, stop. It's the whole idea that you're seeing an entire process, which takes a ton of time, sandwiched down into like minute, 2 minutes at most, and it's really fast and engaging text, this, that, boom, 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 boom. That's the point of like these videos and why they are so engaging. So one last thing I wanted to mention about these videos, which is graphics. And that's something you may or may not use. Personally, when I see these videos and they have graphics and they're flying in and they're doing like, you know, hovering over something or going over, it really makes the video more engaging and it allows your brain to pick up on stuff really fast. You may not pick up on every little thing that goes on screen. It allows you to emphasize a lot in a short amount of time. Things will catch their eye and things will keep them engaged, and it's gonna keep people on the video longer, which is, at the end of the day, you want someone to finish your video and watch the whole thing through. So a lot of the effects that I use, they're all from Motion VFX. It's an awesome website. They got some cool plug and play graphics for Final Cut Pro. I love using these graphics, they're awesome. Guys, I'll put a link in the description so you can check that out. But they got tons of cool things. You drag, drop, do a little editing, but you really don't have to like keyframe, which is one of those things for a video like this. Keyframing is gonna take a lot of time, but it'll get the similar type of look. Maybe you can do something more creative if you're working in like After Effects or something. All right guys, so that's all of my technique and my method for creating these tasty style videos. I think this is a really cool and engaging way to communicate an idea or film something really interesting from a different, unique perspective. Think about different ways that you can use this in your videos, in your workflow. It's very engaging. People love seeing these videos, and I think you'll be able to create something cool with it. So guys, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts on my technique that I've put together on how I create these overhead tasty style videos. If you've created a video like this, I'd love to see it, so put it in the comments below. And guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I create a ton of awesome photography and filmmaking tutorials, along with all the travel and adventure stuff me and my wife do. There's a lot on our channel, and I'd love to take you around the world with us when we travel. So guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and guys, I'll see you on the next one.